We'll record it to the, we'll record this to the cloud. Well, good morning, dude. How's it
Good
going?
morning. It's fantastic. Weather's great. Have a little coffee right here. It's a great morning.
Yeah, good stuff, dude. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, let's see. So I'm gonna go over to my little notes for us this morning here. Yeah, what have you been up to this morning?
Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And that's it.
Some rat killing.
Rat killing. Yeah. It's nice to be not having to go on a job site or
Mm,
go on an estimate. So it's
it's fun to
our
say. This is like you.
first time in a
It's
long
kind of
time.
yeah. It's kind of rare that you don't have a morning that you're doing something like that nowadays.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
So
that's good though. That's good.
it is.
So yeah, dude. So I guess really just kind of introduce yourself a little bit, your kind of your role at Mary's and your
Okay.
also your role and kind of building up reviews for painters, you know.
Okay. Uh, I'm Will Hayden. I am the owner of Mary's Painting and co-founder of Reviews for Painters. I've been in the residential painting probably for 2 years. I bought Mary's Painting, which is an established business over it's been established since 2001. Um, so um, it's been good. And one thing I noticed when I bought Mary's, me coming from a B2B business and going to a B2C business, I knew how um, reviews, how people purchase would be based on social proof. And one of the opportunities I seen with Mary's Painting was they had initially established a Google business profile for 7 years. And at the time, we only had 17 reviews. So I seen opportunities at that point to gather, reviews. Um, I knew that we did great work. It was now that we needed to show people that we did great work. Um, and so that looked like the first week. We I met with the our office admin Alma, and she pulled out a bag of cards and we had like over 40 cards, and they were like, hey, our clients love us. And I was
And
like,
they were like thank you cards from
they were thank you
customers.
cards. They were
Yeah,
thank you cards. So I was like, we need to convert those um into reviews. And that kind of was the thought process of you know how do we do that, pretty much.
right,
So
right. And that was right around the time that I actually came on board, wasn't it?
yeah, it was probably a month prior. Um,
Yeah,
because I don't think we really made a push for reviews until you came on board.
right, right. Which
I
we
think
sucked at it for a long time.
we did, we did,
We
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 did,
were
we
not we
did.
weren't doing the right things, but we were trying stuff.
I think the first thing that we did, you know, the gratitude buckets. I think one of the first projects that you did with Mary's Painting, possibly. I can't remember if you did it or the previous marketing company we had. We built the QR codes to
Right.
and
And
I'm not
yeah.
sure they worked half the time, the QR code.
Yeah, I think that was before I was on board, but I mean we did make some things that were kind of like we got to the point where we were so desperate we were about to start bribing people for for reviews, which we
Oh
didn't
yeah,
even know that that was a big no-no
yeah.
from Google. We
And
were like, hey,
absolutely, and we put those cards in those gratitude buckets, and at the time it was we depended on the painters to give it to the client afterwards during a walkthrough.
right,
And there wasn't a
right,
good tracking mechanism to say, hey, did they even receive this? So
right.
um didn't get a whole lot of reviews from that.
Yeah. So what made you kind of decide to build that review system and kind of keep it in-house instead of using something that was already on the market?
There's you know great, I'm sure, review reputation software on the market. For us, it just seemed like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of tech, they 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 may start doing something and they kind of venture out into something else. So I didn't want a bolt-on option. Um, something that they're, because we were happy with our estimating software. We were happy with some of our other software. So we didn't want anything where we had to change estimating software and it was just a bolt-on feature. In my mind, I wanted to have something um, that that was what it was built for, not just something
Right.
that is bolted onto another software because um, it may not be um, a focus of that software's company at
Right.
the time.
Which we did kind of try that a little bit, right? Like there's a feature in I believe we were well, obviously we were using Estimate Rocket at the time, but like I think even in Estimate Rocket, there's a feature where you can send a re a request for a review or something like
We did.
that. So,
Mhm.
and it's like, we've tried sending those, but it's like they're just basic emails and I don't think they even really properly linked to the Google profile. So it just wasn't effective for us. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you go back, the effectiveness of it, because if you go back, think about the clients that we have. Some of them are older, and that's why, you're like, well, they had to go to the store to buy thank you cards and stuff like that. And I always remember my wife's grandmother always had thank you cards. I mean, it's like she pre-purchased every year thank you cards, and that was kind of the older
Right.
generation, and she would make stuff for the garbage man, or she just send these little thank you cards out like that. And I started thinking, I was like, well, you know, at some point we got to make it convenient for our our clientele.
Right.
So, you know, those cards were convenient for them because a lot of them probably already bought it. Then we were expecting to send a call to say, hey, get online. And it's maybe they're uncomfortable getting online or unsure. So that was kind of eye-opening at first. So
Right. 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 So, yeah, I've got a list of questions on here, but I'm just kind of going to skip around a little bit.
yeah.
But um, so what do obviously, I didn't really do a good job of introducing myself, but you hired me a little over a year ago now to kind of come on as director of marketing for Mary's Painting, and we've worked together to build reviews for painters. The software that is now reviews for painters, we've worked hard to kind of build that in-house, and now we're trying to take that to other painting businesses. But so what did we know? I'm going to say, what did you know as a painting business owner that typical software companies don't understand? So like I guess what I'm saying is like obviously we're doing this niche just for other painting businesses because it's worked really well for us. So like, yeah, what do you feel like that you kind of knew going into that you were like, this is going to be good for us to do this?
Um, you know, busyness, the busyness of a painting company. And we're small, but still we try to stay lean. So I knew that we wanted something automated because depending on our office admin to do it, sometimes she would get lost in the day to day and it wasn't maybe a
Mm,
priority. Um, Another challenge was when we did get reviews, for me as the owner responding to all the reviews, even though there wasn't very many, but it was difficult for me to not sound the same on every review. Oh, thank you for
right,
choosing us,
right,
and I think, creating an AI model that that actually kind of mixes that up a little bit was
dude.
was a very nice touch.
Yeah, I'll never forget whenever we had first like enabled that feature for ourselves. And I didn't even realize that I actually had that fully turned on. I thought I just tested it for a day and turned it back on.
Mhm.
And we got a negative review. Not remember this. We got a bad review. And it was like you were like, oh man, like trying to think about how to respond to this review. And then like you got on there and it had already responded like a day previously. It responded like within the hour and it was like a great response.
It
It
was
handled that
much
really well.
better than how because, obviously it takes a little bit and you want to calm down, you know, um, and it handled it much better than I would have handled it. So that was
Yeah.
that was a win.
We love our AI overlords.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So use as far as using the system goes, how has reviews for painters changed the way that Mary's Paint collects reviews?
Um, I think it's a night day difference. Every happy customer now automatically gets a review request that feels personal. It's not robotic. It quietly runs in the background. Um, it runs in the background while we do what we do best, and that's painting.
Right.
It's almost like having an extra team member, um, whose only job is to bring in reviews. So, that's for me, that's big.
That's great, man. Yeah. So we had, what did we have? We truly started with like 17 when we bought the company,
Yeah,
Google reviews. And
17 reviews when I bought the company, and I think the
you know,
first year we organically grew it to 45. And that
right.
was
And that
that was a
was
grind.
hard. That was hard fought. Like, how many meetings do you think we had over just how do we get more Google reviews? Like it was just
Well, I do know we on the phone we talked about it 2 or 3 times a week. So probably almost every weekly meeting for, that we had, we probably didn't hit all 52 weeks, so we probably hit, 45 of it. So there was 45 meetings at least at some point 10 minutes we talked about Google reviews in every
right.
staff meeting that
And
we
we weren't even getting one review a week. It was
Oh
like
no.
we would maybe get what we were shooting for like four a quarter or something like that
Yeah,
at
three a
one point.
quarter. Three a
Three a
quarter.
quarter.
Three a quarter. No, 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 no. It wasn't 3 a quarter. It was 9 a quarter. We were shooting for three
Right.
a month. That was our hope
Three
was.
a month. Right.
And we're like,
Right.
woo, we got that nine this quarter, you know, you know.
And we can laugh about that now because now whenever we actually started with, kind of turned to this got it all kind of built out, turned it on, we started doing a kind of like a review reactivation campaign, which is the first thing that we'll do with our customers, is
Mhm.
that, we kind of took the list of happy customers that we had and we turned them into 5-star reviews. And I just know that we crossed 100 reviews in less than 14 days. I don't remember exactly because it's been a little while
Mhm.
now, but I just remember getting a call from you first being like, oh my God, it's working.
Yeah.
Like we got 8 reviews the first day, I think,
Oh yeah.
that we were
And
using
and
it.
and really our reactivation campaign, we had like 20, I think we did all of 2024. And then we didn't go
Right.
back too far into
We didn't go back too
2023.
far.
We probably could
Yeah.
have went a little further, but you know,
We really just kind of wanted to stick with the people that, because, it's like, I feel like when you're doing a reactivation like that, start going all the way back, you'll still get we probably could have gotten a lot more, honestly, because I think even the last, you know, up until that, we ran it up until like halfway through 2023, and we were still getting great responses, honestly.
we
But it was
were.
just kind of like, yeah, we want to keep this. We want to try to just get, the higher intent people that are going to be top of mind. They just got painted in the past couple of years, that
Yeah,
type of
and
thing.
me being just an owner that came on in the first part of 2024, I don't know. My assumption was because of the amount of customer lists that we had great, that we did great work for people, but um, you know, I didn't want to go too far into 2023. I don't know.
Right. It might open up a
You
can of
never know
worms.
what you uncover. So, I was comfortable with 2024 because I could count on, my hand the amount of projects that that probably weren't happy. And we solved that pretty quickly. And
Right.
so some a painting business that has been there from the start. Um, you know, we could go back further than what we did
Right.
to
Right.
get reviews. So that's
Because I
that's
don't, yeah, I don't remember the exact numbers from whenever we did this. I should have brought this up before we did this Zoom, but maybe I will in the next video that we do. But it was something like, I think we had a total of 350 to 400. I remember it being less than 400 customers that we reached out to, and we kind of ran through our reactivation campaigns with the custom picture and everything.
mhm,
And of that, I think we got about 70 5-star reviews in just a couple weeks. So
that's
that
massive.
yeah, so what are some things that from a owner's perspective, what are some things that you noticed that those extra reviews started doing for the business?
When we talk about it all the time, it just seemed like the more reviews that we got, the better, the more leads that we started getting on Facebook. Um, the more definitely Google LSA. Before we were spending money on Google
Mm,
ads and we didn't get a whole lot. The leads, um, and once that started kicking off, it seemed like the Google LSA ads started hitting. And then it was like a 50% close rate on that. So I think it just compounds
right.
both of them. What marketing strategy you have digitally, I think the reviews just helps, establish that social proof. So I mean,
I
as
remember
for
you called me.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember you called me just, probably around it was a couple weeks after we had been running it and, that reactivation campaign for ourselves. And it was like, dude, we're like top three in the Mass Pack now,
All
like
right.
just getting on Google and searching us. And it was like, dude, that was huge because like when I don't remember, we did a little improvement because we beefed up our SEO on our website and stuff like that. But even then, I think we were like page 19 on search
Oh,
results on Google
absolutely.
or
Because
something. It was
we beat,
bad.
yeah, we
Nobody
beat
could
that
find
up.
us on Google.
Hmm. Because what remind me of dates, we really beefed that up June of July of last year. So
Yeah,
we really didn't start seeing a really return on stuff until well after the reviews started hitting.
after
Really.
we started getting more views. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't immediate either. I feel like it was almost like we saw we started getting an influx of a few leads, but then it was also over the course of, I'd say, the 3 months following us doing that and us continuing to get anywhere from 5 to 10 to some months like 12 new um
Mhm.
new 5-star reviews just from the automate, kind of moving forward the evergreen system of it once that project gets completed
Right.
and we're sending that personalized 5-star review request.
Right.
um
So
yeah.
going back to your question, is lead quality, obviously. I think close rate, I think our sales team are closing higher. I think the job size, I think it's helped with average job size.
Why do you think that
Because
is?
um they trust you more. I think
So
just having that
people with bigger jobs are
bigger,
looking
yeah,
for more
bigger jobs,
trustworthy
trust.
companies.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's trust. That's all it is. More trust equals more jobs, bigger jobs, and it equals more revenue growth. And it's just that simple.
Yes. Yep.
So, um, and I think another thing what it allows you to do, which is a big deal, is when I first bought the company, I knew we needed to scale, but where we were pricing wise didn't wasn't going to allow us to scale as quickly as we wanted to do. And then you're
we
always
were too thin on our margins.
too thin on our margins, and then you're looking at your social proof. You're like, well, am I going to be able to raise my prices? Because you got to think most of our business were repeat customers. 80 or 90% were repeat customers, and we're closing 75% of those. And you're looking at, oh, you're probably priced too low if you're closing that amount. So to me, it was like it was very key to get more reviews, and more review means that you can actually charge um, higher ticket pricing, because you're really not competing on
Right.
price anymore. We're trying to attract clients who value quality. So
Right.
that's what we're trying to do.
And I think a lot of our customers that were existing customers kind of already knew that. But then
Hmm.
it's like if somebody doesn't really know you, and if you start trying to get net new customers, which is people who are not just referrals, and they don't know anything about you, and they get on Google and they see less than 50 reviews, that doesn't speak volumes, you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't speak volumes.
Yeah.
Um,
Chances are you're not going to win those jobs.
right. And, one of the questions I was going to ask is, do customers mention reviews as a reason they chose Mary's now?
Oh, yeah, all the time. In fact, I've had it as far as the way as we're branching out, establishing new locations. So one of the first estimates that I went on in our new location, Central Arkansas, he referred back to our reviews in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
He was telling his real estate agent. He was like, these guys got great reviews. This is why we chose them to kind of come out and do our estimate. They literally say, I saw your reviews and I knew I can trust you. And that's powerful. It's like walking into every sales appointment
Oh, it's so
already
good.
halfway to them saying yes. So
Right. Oh, it's so good. That's so good. Yeah. Yeah. So just kind of looking at some of my questions, other questions here. So yeah, well, and honestly, we've kind of answered a lot of these questions already. So, I've got
mhm.
questions like how did the system support Mary's painting scaling to the next level?
Mhm.
I don't know how much you want to disclose on this video about the growth of Mary's and kind of like what we're doing and stuff, but I feel
You
like
know,
it's
I
been pretty key.
Well, I think it gives validation to really, when it's kind of cool when you see that roll across the notifications roll across your dashboard, or my notifications roll across. It builds momentum. It gives confidence to the team. Gives
Yeah,
confidence to the team when they see happy clients, and it just fuels culture and confidence. That's what it does. So, um, that to me is very key in scaling. So
yeah. Good stuff, dude. Well, yeah, we won't drag this one on too long. We're trying to keep these to around 20-minute videos, but
cool.
yeah, so what do kind of a couple more questions. What would you tell a contractor or any business owner considering reviews for painters?
Man, if you're tired of chasing reviews manually, it's a game changer. It takes one of the most annoying parts of running a business, and it makes it automatic.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah. Why is this a must-have tool for painters who are really trying to take their growth of their business seriously?
reputation drives revenue.
Mm,
If you want to grow without spending a fortune on ads, start with trust.
yeah.
And reviews for painters make that part of it effortless.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, man. That's
So
awesome, dude. So, yeah, dude. So we can kind of close this out. So, where do you see kind of our business here, reviews for painters going in the next few years? What's our vision for this thing?
I think there's a lot of crossover with different trades, and obviously we want to be a great partner to painters first, and but whether it's painting or other trades, Every contractor faces the same challenges, and that's turning happy customers into public proof. So the goal is
Yes.
to help every blue collar business build a 5-star reputation
Yes.
and do it on autopilot. And that's
Oh,
the main thing.
so true, dude.
So,
So true. I love that. I love that since we've kind of had this system and we've turned it on and everything, I think I've had to
yeah.
I've had to get on there and fix our integration once or twice over
Twice,
the
yeah.
course of it. And we've had it on for over 6 months now.
Yep.
And I don't think we even talked about this, but yeah, we're approaching that 200 reviews mark now, and that's putting us up there with the big players in our market. Some of the guys that
Hmm.
have got, well, guys and girls that have got, this, they're like the franchise company. So it's like
Sure.
it's
Sure.
so cool to be a small business and just being able to play with the big boys, so to speak. You know,
Absolutely.
compete with
Absolutely.
them. So
Absolutely.
that's great. It's what it's all about. So,
Hmm.
well, good stuff, dude. Thanks for hopping on here and doing this little video with me. This will be our first
Our first
video on YouTube
of
for
many.
reviews for painters, and hopefully we can do some more. I've already kind of got a few more ideas of how we
Okay.
can kind of discuss this and just dig into maybe some more numbers and things like that. So,
Yeah. That's awesome, man. This is good. This is really good. So
yeah,
looking forward to doing many more.
good stuff, dude. Okay, man. I'll see you later.
All right.
All
See
right.
you soon.
Bye.